Call to order the 89th meeting of the 40th Council, April 27th, 2026 at 5:14. And the first order of business is moment of reflection. Thank you. Next order of business is approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Johnson, seconded by Councillor Lyons. Resolved that the agenda for the 89th meeting of the 40th Council be approved as amended. In favor? Carried. And number 4 is disclosure of pecuniary interest and the general nature thereof. It can be declared now or any time during the meeting. Moving on to minutes from previous meeting, Committee of the Whole meeting minutes, April 13th. Moved by Councillor Lyons, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Resolved that the minutes of the Committee of the Whole meeting held April 13th, 2026 be received and filed. In favor? Carried. Next is the meeting minutes from April 13th. Moved by Councillor Knowles, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Resolved that the minutes of the 88th meeting of the 40th Council held April 13th, 2026 be adopted as written. In favor? Carried. Is there any matters arising out of these minutes anyone would like to discuss? Seeing none, we will move to Departments, Administration and Employee Relations, bylaw number 25-26. Moved by Councillor Knowles, seconded by Councillor Johnson. Resolved that bylaw number 25-26, being a bylaw to repeal bylaw number 12-18, authorizing the corporation of the town of Atikokan to adopt a municipal recount policy, be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed. In favor? Carried. Next is the meeting minutes from the Atikokan Public Library. Councillor Stimson's absence. Is there another councillor on that committee who'd like to speak to this? Nobody here. So the minutes are in the agenda and they are written as read for anybody that wants to review those. We'll move forward with the Rainy River District Municipal Association. Correspondence from Peggy Johnson, Secretary Treasurer, and it is the executive meeting of the Rainy River District Municipality Association was held April 14th. And as per request of the executive, district clerks are asked to please place the following items on the agenda. Because of the poor turnout, they're eliminating the September meeting. A discussion about the annual general meeting, which was discussed by us at the AGM about moving the dates. Again, that wasn't voted in favor of, so it will still be in January. And the RRDMA budget will be presented for approval, and the rate will increase from 90 cents to $1 per capita for fees to belong to the executive, or belong to the association. And that was voted. It's a minor increase, and it was a long time coming. Any questions from the RRDMA? Yes, Councillor Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. So, excuse my ignorance, but is it a $1 per citizen? Per
Yes.
town? Okay.
And that goes by our census, so I think our census, say it was 2,800, so it would be an additional $280. $28. $280, sorry. Yes, Councillor Knowles?
Thank you, Mayor Ferguson. Just looking for insight maybe from CAO Young, if we're still seeing the value in being a member of the RRDMA. I know some of the challenges that we've had in regards to making sure that we have a seat at that table, just because we're sort of on the periphery of the district, and with the rate increases and the challenges with getting people to the meetings, if it's still a viable organization to keep supporting moving forward. Thank you.
Sure. So I think more importantly, it gives us the voice at the NOMA table. So NOMA represents the district leads, being Thunder Bay, Kenora, and the Rainy River District. So we don't pay to be in NOMA per se, per municipality. It's done through a levy to the leagues. So being a part of the Rainy River District Municipal Association gives us the opportunity to bring forward our issues through them to NOMA. So I think there's great value in that. I understand, as you're saying, like the participation at the district league, but I still believe it's very much worth it.
Great, thank you. Appreciate the update.
And I agree, CAO Young, being at those meetings, we are the second largest municipality in the Rainy River District, so we do have some say. Unfortunately, we couldn't get them to move on the time of the general meeting, which has happened at the same time for, I think, the last 34 years or something like that. But we do have some sway. We do have a lot of input, and a lot of the smaller municipalities look for us for our opinion and the guidance. So we'll move on to other business. Oh, yes? Okay. Other business, Community Investment Improvement Program resolution, what? Oh, I'm sorry, yes. So it's District of Rainy River Services Board, or known as the DSAB. They put out the highlights from the latest meeting. One of the things that was discussed was a housing initiative, and Atikokan is not participating in this round of new district housing. We come down to where we have to own the property to move into the next round, and as we don't own any property in Atikokan, we were not eligible to participate in that round of housing initiatives. But again, it's not to say that we won't be included in the future, but this administration reviewed the former North Star School property, but it is not recommending a bid due to financial pressures and current asset priorities. So that means DSAB will not be putting a bid in for North Star School. Any questions on that? Okay, hearing none, we will move to other business. And Community Investment Improvement Program resolution, moved by Councillor Knowles, seconded by Councillor Lyons. Whereas Council has expressed interest in supporting local business investment and enhancing the appearance of commercial properties within the community, and whereas Council wishes to implement a one-time pilot program to assess the effectiveness of such initiatives, now therefore be it resolved that Council supports the establishment of a community investment grant program for 2026. That program be funded through the town's 2026 approved budget in the amount of up to $25,000 and not to exceed $25,000 in total disbursements, and that any unused funds at the conclusion of the program be transferred to the Atikokan Town's reserves, and that the program be administered by the Atikokan Economic Development Corporation, and that the AEDC be responsible for the intake, review, and approval of applications in accordance with the program guidelines, and further be it resolved that any distribution of funds shall be conditional upon the town receiving copies of submitted applications, documentation of approvals, and copies of all invoices supporting completed work, and that the mayor and members of council who sit on the AEDC board shall report back to council on the status, uptake, and outcomes of the program, and that this funding be considered a one-time pilot initiative and that any continuation or expansion of the program be subject to future council approval through the annual budget process. Any discussion, comment, in favor? Carried. Thank you, and I let the AEDC know that council approved it. Let him know that the other day, so he is moving, economic development is moving on that program. And next is municipal engagement in the regional impact assessment process. It's a fairly lengthy resolution. Do you want me to read it after we just discussed it? I can read it if you want me to. You want to listen to me? Great. Okay. Moved by Councilor Lyon, seconded by Councilor Johnson. Whereas the federal impact assessment process requires consideration of potential social, economic, and infrastructure-related impacts of regional development on nearby communities, and whereas the Nuclear Waste Management Organization, as the project proponent, has developed draft integrated impact statement guidelines which contemplate engagement with identified municipalities and other self-identifying local communities in the collection of baseline information, assessment of potential effects, and the identification of mitigation measures. And whereas the town of Atikokan is not currently identified within the project study area, but may experience regional impacts associated with development activity in the Ignis area, and whereas it is in the interest of the town of Atikokan to ensure the potential impacts are properly studied and understood, including cumulative effects across sectors and across nearby communities, to support informed, evidence-based municipal planning. Now therefore be it resolved that the town of Atikokan that the town council supports the town to formally self-identifying as a local community within the federal impact assessment process in order to be recognized as a municipality that may experience potential impacts, and further that staff be directed to communicate in writing to the Impact Assessment Agency of Canada and the relevant project's proponents before the May 10th, 2026 deadline that the town of Atikokan is formally self-identifying as a local community that may experience potential social, economic, and infrastructure-related impacts associated with regional development in the town of Ignis area. The town requests to be included in baseline data collection, effects analysis, and the identification of potential mitigation measures as part of the impact assessment process. And at minimum, the town expects consideration of housing accommodations, capacity, workforce and population changes, municipal infrastructure, including water, wastewater, and transportation systems, community services, including healthcare, childcare, education, and emergency response, local and regional economic effects, transportation and traffic impacts, including regional routes such as Highway 622, and the cumulative effect across sectors across nearby communities. The town expects these assessments to include quantified analysis and the identification of potential mitigation measures and the community readiness considerations, and further that the staff report back to council on engagement opportunities and any identified impacts or mitigation considerations affecting the municipality. In favor? Thank you. Carried. And we have no in-camera discussions, so we will moved by Councilor Johnson, seconded by Councilor Lyons, resolved that this meeting do now adjourn. In favor? Carried. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you for reading that. I did not realize it was that.